Well, hello, folks out there in YouTube land. Got a very interesting show set up for you. Yep, FSU got everything. We got to find out, why did the ACC fold? I think I have a pretty good idea. We're going to get into that as well. But first, let's talk about this deal. The way they've set it up is 60% of the revenue is now going to be split up between viewership. Basically, whoever gets the most viewership over a 5-year period, they're obviously going to be going back, is how they're going to pay out a lot of the money. 40% will be shared equally. Why this matters so much, FSU gets all the eyeballs, them and Clemson. They get the vast majority of them in football, and football drives the ship.
It's good to be the king.
On top of that, they lowered the exit fee that everybody was talking about was $500 million, $120 million exit fee, plus all the TV rights, etc. And that's been lowered to $165 million. That goes all the way down to $75 million in 2030. So a huge reduction in the exit fee for a team like an FSU or a Clemson or whoever wants to leave. Now, why would the ACC agree to this? I think there was 2 reasons why. Number one, if they lose the case, they're screwed. You know, the conference would dissolve very quickly, not unlike what happened with the Pac-10 or Pac-12, however many Pacs there are out there. Anyway, the other thought, and I think this makes a lot of sense, even though it's not been proven, is that ESPN pressured the ACC and said, we're not going to sign this extension. They got a 13-year extension, and it was ESPN's choice to make. The ACC had no choice. But for them to agree to go forward for 13 years, it's believed they said, we're not going to do this unless we know FSU and Clemson are going to be part of it because they get the most viewers, which ESPN obviously cares deeply about that. So there was pressure on the ACC from ESPN, but there was also additional pressure, and this is something a fellow by the name of Doug Rohan talked about on a channel, the Renegade channel, which I've shown you before. We showed them back when we were playing FSU in baseball in the World Series, and I'm going to show you this little clip. And don't worry, I know for months y'all been wearing me out. Play the lady and what she said about the VOLS and all that. Look, if this channel is nothing else, it gives you what you want. Yeah, this is the Burger King channel. I'm going to give you that. Y'all been wearing me. I'm going to show you that clip, but I'll show you that later. But watch this clip with the Renegade channel.
I mean, Doug, you tell me if I'm wrong. Does this tell you that Discovery would have been really bad for what I believe 100%. Is ESPN?
ESPN and the ACC. The ACC would not have recovered. No, because we're the petulant stepchild screaming and yelling, wah, 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 throwing a temper tantrum. Once they're under oath and either claiming the Fifth Amendment or admitting to all their malfeasance, the ACC would not have recovered. Right now, the ACC has the opportunity to exist in 2040. If Discovery had continued forward and all the malfeasance had been on display, they would have been sued into oblivion and would cease to exist.
Yeah. I think, yeah. I mean, I'm sorry. I mean, if you just look at what they got out of this, it just tells me that there was, my God, I wish we could have gotten some of those text messages and emails. That's all I'm going to say. That's it.
Yeah. Under the pine trees, that whole thing. Wife gets a job, son gets a job. Every time they can extend the contract, you get a raise and a promotion.
Yeah, it sounds like there might have been some shenanigans behind the scenes with nepotism and things along those lines, because why would you get a 13-year extension and the ACC has no say in it? There's some things that went on there that maybe Discovery would have brought out. So a lot of times when there's a lawsuit, you'll see that when you get right up to Discovery where everybody's got to turn everything over and they can be cross-examined and all that, all of a sudden people are ready to settle.
No desire.
Settle! Settle, 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 settle!
So there may be some reality what they were suggesting. And I wouldn't be shocked by that either, because, man, did they capitulate. Good grief. They gave them pretty much everything they wanted. And here's the thing that FSU and Clemson fans, and really probably North Carolina and a couple others, Miami, needs to be happy about. You're really better off, in my opinion, sticking with the ACC for a short period of time, because let's say you would have won the case and you're out there on your own. That's really not the place you want to be at this moment, because both the SEC and the Big Ten don't have a contract ending until 2030-31. And that's when you're probably going to want to jump into one of the big conferences. Because right now, if you're out there on your own, you're Washington State. You're Oregon State. And what's Washington State now? They're a farm club. They develop a quarterback, somebody grabs them. Miami, for example. They develop another quarterback who does great. Mateer. Oklahoma grabs him. They're just a farm club now. So you don't want to be out there trying to cut individual TV deals and doing all that kind of stuff. You're better off being in the ACC. You're getting an extra $15 million a year is what most people are thinking. And that's going to help you a lot. That's going to help you with the NCAA settlement with the House and all that. And you get to continue to play against teams that you should be able to handle. Now, granted, you had a terrible year last year, but typically that's a opposition that you can pretty much, be successful against. You don't want to be going in the SEC or Big Ten right now, given where you're at. You need to build your team back up, and that $15 million a year that you're going to get is going to help you with revenue sharing. So you're going to have an advantage on all these ACC clubs. You should be able to handle them. And then when you've gotten your team built up, you can join a Big Ten or an SEC. Because I promise you, you don't want to be playing Georgia and Alabama and Tennessee and South Carolina and so on and so forth, Texas right now. Or how about Ohio State, Oregon? I mean, you don't want a part of that right now. Stay in the ACC, build it up.
Stay as long as you can. For the love of God, cherish it.
And then join one of the big conferences in a few years when it's way cheaper. Because right now it'd be $165 million. You wait till 2030, it's $75 million, and you can be part of the conference that's cutting a new deal. Right now, you'd walk in and SEC would probably take you, but it'd probably be at 25% cut, something like that. Or the Big Ten would do the same thing, just like they did with some of the other teams they brought in that had to take very small cuts. Some of the teams that went in the ACC didn't get anything. They just didn't want to be out there where Washington State is. So there's that. Plus, it also gives you time to build up to be in the AAU, because if you don't get AAU accreditation, Big Ten's not going to take you. They just won't. They're very, very picky about that. Whereas the SEC, you don't have to be AAU accredited. So there's that issue as well. And that takes time, and you got to use the right mustard and all that kind of stuff if you're going to be AAU. That's just fact.
Pardon me, would you have any Grey Poupon?
But of course.
So I think FSU and Clemson come out of this smelling like a rose. And North Carolina didn't have to spend a dime, and they didn't have to take a bunch of crap on social media because they just sat back. And now they get all the rewards and didn't have to spend any money. Same for a Virginia or a Miami, who might very well be looking to exit at some point. So there's really no way to look at this other than FSU won everything. They just flat out did. So did Clemson, and so does everybody in the ACC that's on the top. If you're on the bottom of the ACC, you're losing $7-8 million a year, and it just is what it is. When somebody wins, somebody's got to lose in a situation like this, because ESPN wasn't going to pony up more money. So you've got your winners and you got your losers, and is what it is. That's reality. And I want to show you the clip because, look, all you Tennessee fans out there, I know you love this clip, so I'm going to play it for you.
I can't wait for Tennessee to lose in football next year, because that's what they do every year. And they won't win this either.
You sure about that?
So screw them. Who cares? Don't care.
Oh, I hear you. Yeah, screw Tennessee.
Yeah, that was after Tennessee eliminated FSU out of the College World Series. And there was a play that FSU folks got pretty upset about. It was a close call. It was where one of our guys did a check swing, and FSU folks thought that he swung. The umpire saw it differently. And then Tennessee got a hit and just kept scoring and won the ball game. So, and I get it. That was a close call. It could have gone either way. and it would have probably directly impacted how the World Series would have played out. But Tennessee wound up winning it, and I think the Tennessee fans will always enjoy that clip. I just hadn't played it in a while, but like I say, Burger King. Anyway, if you like this content, be sure to hit that like button. Let's remember to continue to cover all these big college sports stories. If you've not subscribed, boom, boom, boom. Hit that button right there. It won't cost you a dime. Help you get my videos. And right over here is the most recent video YouTube. Thanks, you'll enjoy. We'll see you next time on Sports Talk J. FSU, y'all clearly won.
Yo, Adrian! I did it!